Weeknight Service by D.H. Lawrence, 1885 to 1930. The 5 old bells are hurrying and eagerly calling, imploring, protesting. They know, but clamorously falling into gabbling incoherence, never resting, like spattering showers from a bursten skyrocket dropping in splashes of sound endlessly, never stopping. The silver moon that somebody has spun so high to settle the question, yes or no, has caught in the net of the night's balloon and sits with a smooth bland smile up there in the sky, smiling at naught, unless the winking star that keeps her company makes little jests at the bell's insanity, if he knew aught. The patient night sits indifferent, hugged in her rags. She neither knows nor cares why the old church sobs and brags. The light distresses her eyes and tears her old blue cloak as she crouches and covers her face, smiling, perhaps, if we knew it, at the bell's loud clattering disgrace. The wise old trees drop their leaves with a faint sharp hiss of contempt, while a car at the end of the street goes by with a laugh, as by degrees the poor bells cease, and the night is exempt, and the stars can chaff the ironic moon at their ease, while the dim old church is peopled with shadows and sounds and ghosts that lurch in its cenotaph. Okay, this is a poem by D.H. Lawrence. D.H. Lawrence is a modernist British poet. Let's see, he came from Nottinghamshire. I think his father was a miner. He went to University College, Nottingham. He got into lots of trouble over censorship, and he's probably best known for his books, his book Lady Chatterley's Lover. He spent much of his life in court cases about what he could and couldn't write in his books. Let's see, the Weeknight Service, what's this about? Well, personally, I think this poem is a description of a church at night. And let's see, the 5 old bells are hurrying and eagerly calling. So the bells, their 5 bells are ringing, and I get the feeling that there are people there ringing the bells because campanology or bell ringing in the UK is quite a common thing, and the 5 old bells are hurriedly and eagerly calling. They're making their noise, imploring, protesting. They know, but clamorously falling. So it's like they're imploring, they're protesting, they're begging, but clamorously falling into gabbling incoherence. To gabble is to talk very fast, never resting, so they never stop, like spattering showers from a bursten skyrocket dropping. So a rocket goes up and then it bursts, and the shower comes down in splashes of sound, endlessly stopping. And to me, this is a description of the sound of the bells of this church, and they're going quickly, and they're calling, and they're begging, and they're protesting, and they're making loud noises, and they're gabbling, and they never rest, and they're like a shower from a rocket that come in splashes, and they splash everywhere, these sounds splashing. And I think this is a beautiful description of the sounds. The silver moon that somebody has spun so high. So there's this moon, and it's been put really high in the sky. And the moon is to settle the question, yes or no. But it doesn't say to settle which question. Yeah, the moon is going to be the arbiter, yes or no. And the moon has caught in the net of the night's balloon. So the moon is there as like a balloon in a net in the middle of the night. So I get this idea of this big, round, shining moon, and sits with a smooth, bland smile up there in the sky, smiling at naught. So the moon is sitting there with a big smile on its face, but it's smiling at nothing, unless the winking star that keeps her company makes little jests at the bell's insanity. Or maybe the moon is smiling because there's a little star beside the moon that keeps scintillating and winking, and it's making jokes about the crazy noises of the bells. As if he knew aught. Here aught means anything. As if he knew anything. So here, this is the description of the moon. The moon high up, spun so high, that the judge or jury over the scene is like a balloon in the middle of the night. It's got a smile on its face, but it's smiling at nothing. And there's a winking star beside it, and maybe they're both laughing at the crazy noises of the bells, but they don't know anything. They don't know really what's happening. The patient night sits indifferent, hugged in her rags. So the night is there, and the night doesn't care. And the night is dressed in rags, in broken clothes. She neither knows nor cares why the old church sobs and brags. So the night doesn't care. The night doesn't care that the church is sobbing, it's crying because it's unhappy, or it's bragging with the sound of the bells. The light distressed her eyes and tears her old blue cloak as she crouches and covers her face. So the light of the day distressed the night. The night doesn't like it, and the light tears her old blue cloak, the old blue covering of night, as night crouches down and covers her face, smiling perhaps, if we knew it, at the bell's loud clattering disgrace. So maybe the night is smiling at these loud, raucous noises that the bells are making, this disgraceful sound. So this is a description of the night. Dressed in rags, the night doesn't care. The church is sobbing or bragging. And light is something that the night does not like. Because the night breaks the blue cloak, the blue cover of night, and maybe the night is laughing at the bells. The wise old trees, and now we have the trees in the churchyard, drop their leaves with a faint sharp hiss of contempt. So autumn is coming, winter is coming, and the leaves, they are dropping the trees, they're dropping their leaves, they're contemptuous of everything else, while a car at the end of the street goes by with a laugh, and a car goes by at the end of the street, as by degrees the poor bells cease. So slowly the bells stop ringing, and the night is exempt, and the night is finally free of the noise of the bells, and the stars can chaff leave the ironic moon at their ease, so the stars can make jokes, can chaff the moon's irony as they want, while the dim old church is peopled with shadows. So the church is empty. The only people in the church are shadows, and sounds and ghosts that lurch in its cenotaph. So the church is empty, there are no people. They're just shadows and sounds and ghosts that lurch, that walk around here and there in its cenotaph. The cenotaph is, I think, the place where they remember the dead whose bodies were never buried and never found. So in its cenotaph, probably from the First World War, the ghosts of the dead. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Weeknight Service by D.H. Lawrence.